Well, thank you everyone for staying with us here on Global Television. This is Global Morning, and it's always a pleasure to welcome you to the program. I mean, breakfast time, breakfast show. There's no better way to start your day than to be with us here on Global Morning. I am Uyi, the lady who would always look corporate 5 days a week, apart from, well, let's say few Fridays, is also on the show this morning, and I'm delighted to welcome Jumai Manson.
Hi, Uyi. Yay! How are you today? It's great to be here.
Yeah.
It's a Tuesday morning.
Time flies. It's 6th day already.
I'm telling you.
So can we still say this is a new year?
This is a new year. I think we'll keep saying this is Happy New Year to when we get to the end of January.
I mean, if Maduro can say Happy New Year in handcuffs.
In fact, every time I see that clip, it cracks me up every single time.
It's the attitude and the smile with which he said.
Like nothing is happening. Calm down. I got this.
Don't be moved by this police.
Don't be moved by this. Don't be moved. Oh my God, how rude can one be? Good morning to each and every one of you out there. Good morning, Mr. So Uyi is always cracking me up. Hi, Mr. Uyi.
Yeah, good to see you.
Good morning. And we just got into jokes. Like seriously, Maduro is something else. I like the aura which he brings. Like, hey, nothing is happening. I got this.
We're going to get past
We're going to get past. Even if I'm oh God. Oh my goodness. But at the same time.
You know the interesting thing is back at home, the president now who just got sworn in a few hours
Yes,
ago,
Rodriguez.
I mean, as it stands right now, they set up a committee that will help to negotiate his release. So it sounds like a police arrest to me. Maybe that's how Venezuelans back at home feel about it, or that's how the government feels about it. But it's interesting how the whole thing is going.
Really?
But again, Venezuela will not remain the same.
No, it would not remain the same. This is a turnaround. And I think maybe this should be, I'll call it a blessing in disguise to allow, I think it's an eye-opener for the president, Maduro, for him to understand that things cannot just go according to what you say it will go according to. You cannot hold a particular country for that long. There must be change, and change is the only constant thing in life. But I love what Poplio said. He said they shouldn't complicate matters in Venezuela. They shouldn't, let peace, let unity reign. At least that's what we're all looking for. Let peace and unity reign. We shouldn't complicate issues because, of course, we know more violence, eruption, and all of that. But the people of Venezuela, they were happy when this happened. They were happy, jubilated on the streets, like they were. It was like call for freedom for them. But let's just see how well this plays out.
It plays like, I mean, it pretty much just turned out to be what most Africans will feel like. I mean, you saw what happened when there were coups in certain West African countries. Niger, for example.
Of course.
People took to the streets, jubilated and all that. So in a place like Venezuela, the feeling is pretty much like, okay, well, we may not have signed off on this U.S. action. We may not be comfortable with it. But, I mean, come on. The oil has been here for God knows how long. And we have not benefited anything, or at least anything meaningful from it. So if the U.S. will now step in to explore the same oil and give us
better source
whatever
of
it is,
livelihood.
yes, a piece of it. I mean, let's have it that way. Better, I mean, as we say here, I mean, it's better to have a piece of a pack of chicken, I mean, a pack of chin-chin than to have nothing at all. Or we say a piece of bread is better than some. But the point is that in Venezuela, the feeling is it's better to not have at all than to have and you cannot access it. You know, somebody once said to me, and a few other persons many years ago, I was much a younger boy, said...
Really? You were much younger?
Yes, I mean, that was back in the day as late as 2002, some 23 years ago. I was quite a young boy. He was talking to a group, and he said that if you have money in the bank, and the bank has a problem, whether technical or otherwise, that prevents you and other customers from being able to access their money. At that point in time, that money is practically not yours. Because if I need to pay Jumai the 1 million I owe her, and I say, well, my bank has a downtime with their systems, it means I'm still indebted to Jumai, even though I have 10 billion in that account.
Very true.
So the point is, for many Venezuelans, the way they see it is, yes, this oil is ours. This oil is underneath our soil.
But what use?
But because of bad leadership, we can't make the most of it, whether for education, for infrastructure, for all the social services that we deserve as citizens. And That explains why you will see Venezuelans back at home and even beyond the shores of that country
jubilating
with their flags.
But I hope for me, it's not all about the arrest. Let us focus on the Venezuelans.
Yeah.
It's very important that.
Like the Pope.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly the message from the Pope.
Yeah, it is, because they are the core primary issue here. They are the ones that are of importance. They are the ones that are going through hardship. They're the ones that are going through unemployment. They're the ones that are going through poverty as we speak. Not the president has it all. He travels from one place to another. Imagine you can be on handcuffs and yet you tell everyone, calm down, I got this, I'm still coming back. That's what he's trying to say. But let's concentrate on the citizens of that country, the ones that are actually feeling the brunt of whatever hardship there is. Let's concentrate on them. It shouldn't be for greed or for your own personal interest. I always tell people, if you're going to help me 100% without anything. We just do it because you want to see it. You see the burden lighter. Don't do it because you have an ulterior motive behind it.
That's manipulation.
That's manipulation, exactly. So if you're going to do something, do it because you want to help that person and because of the empathy in which you feel to relieve that in which you feel for that individual. It goes along with. There's many more blessings attached to it. So at the same time, for as much as we talk about the oil in Venezuela, let it be for the benefit of the citizens of that country in order to create much more opportunities for them. I think they don't even care. With what I see, they don't even care who is going to be on the seat of power as long as they have an amazing source of livelihood, employment opportunities, they have things, basic necessities of life.
Right.
I think they're good. But for them, for the individuals, the citizens of that country to jubilate both home and abroad, it shows that they've had enough and that there's so much more. There's so much more surrounding this circumstance that we can even imagine or even see. And of course, you heard what Donald Trump said. Colombia is next because they always bring Cuba. It's a harvest for cocaine, bringing cocaine into the U.S. Well, let's see how well that plays out.
He has expanded that bracket now, right? Away from beyond Colombia and Cuba. He has now added Mexico and Denmark.
Of course.
Mexico, I can understand.
Mexico, I can understand.
Always talk about Mexico. How Denmark found itself in that loop.
I can't explain. And Denmark has always been a very peaceful place. They're not really on the limelight.
One of the most stable economies in the world.
Exactly. So I don't know.
One of the best places for education as well, even though many people will talk about how the language is a barrier for them because it's within the Scandinavia, and all of that. But like you said, we'll get past all of this.
An amazing place for tourist attraction.
Happy New Year to everyone. All right, let's take a quick break now. When we return, the rest of Global Morning continues. Do stay with us. Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and international.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
With the development we're seeing coming out of Caracas now, talking generally about Maduro's Venezuela, one of the concerns that people around the world, especially politicians and diplomats, have expressed is how that there shouldn't be another war breaking out in the Americas, especially as it has to do with the relations between the United States and Venezuela. Especially when you look at what we've seen with Gaza on account of the war between Israel and Hamas, and then you turn to, away from the Gulf, you realize that there has also been a war stretching for years now between Russia and Ukraine. That war, by the way, by today is 1,412 days already. What does that tell you? It says that it has been here for well over 3 years. And the question is there hope in sight? The U.S. President Donald Trump stepped in, and we thought that was going to mark the end of the war, because he had also boasted of how that once he returned to the White House for the second time, that war will come to an end as quickly as possible. In fact, he had even accused someone like his predecessor, talking about how that Joe Biden could not find the courage and the leadership to end that war. But today, it continues to linger. Therefore, it only makes sense that you don't want to add a war in the Americas to all of that. Joe Biden, the world needs peace more than ever before.
Yes,
but with the moves now, including what we have seen with Donald Trump and Nigeria recently, and then you add that of Venezuela to it, it will appear that we are not paying, or if you like, investing as much in peace efforts as we are doing in war, or if you like, warfare.
Very true. But at the same time, I think all of these interventions is actually to bring peace to a destabilized nation, is to stabilize it, in my own opinion. But at the same time, are we doing it rightly? These individuals, like the United States, is it the right process in achieving this particular goal for peace, stability, unity in a particular country? We really need to ask ourselves. For some will say you're adding more flame to the fire by these harsh pullouts, or these harsh interventions, or these very harsh. Some feel it's harsh, but for some they'll tell you it's a step in the right direction, because at the beginning of all of this, before the airstrike in Sokoto that happened, that killed so many bandits, you and I would know that there was really lackadaisical attitude when it comes to curbing insecurity in our country, Nigeria. For as much as these foreign individuals want to cause peace and stability in our nation, doing it the right way is important. The motive behind it is important, and making us understand why is important. There are so many speculations around it. I will tell you for free. Some will say their eyes on the prize, which is our mineral resources. We have crude and all of that. But some will say they have empathy for African nations, and some will tell you really but at the same time, the most important key element here are the lives that are involved. Peace, security, and unity, very important. It shouldn't break us as a nation. It should bring us together much more than before. It's very important we have that at the back of our minds, and I think for outside intervention, they should be able to explain it to us sincerely, why the concern and why the love. We understand that, hey, they said it's because there has been so many Christian genocides, but we now see Maiduguri that individuals were killed in the mosques. So it's both when it comes to Islam and Christianity. So let's understand what this is all about. So people, I don't like allegedly or speculations. Let's just put it on the table and know which way forward.
Exactly what we're dealing with.
What we're dealing with. It's very important that we know that. Very important.
Incidentally, Nigeria has not responded to the development on the ground in Venezuela yet. And people say, well, we're trying to be careful. We're trying to thread caution. I would not want to offend either side. But we're seeing how different countries across the world, from Europe to Asia to even the Gulf, the Middle East, that is, they've been responding to all of this. But of course, there's no pressure, and there's no rule that says Nigeria is under compulsion to respond to it. But for the 54 countries on this continent of Africa, one of the things that have been highlighted is that leadership must be redefined. Leadership must be forward-looking, forward-thinking, must be visionary, must be such that you don't give a Donald Trump, because it will appear the world is always going to have a Donald Trump at some point, whether from America or somewhere else. It could even come from China tomorrow. It can be from Russia the next day.
Very true.
So the leadership of these countries sitting on this continent must realize that there is need to do right by your people. There is need to ensure that the mineral resources, whatever kind of natural resources your country has been blessed with, benefits the larger population in such a way that equity can be seen and fairness can be seen, not just because that's one of the things that Maduro has been accused of. Yes, we can sit here all day and argue about the propriety or otherwise of the U.S. to have intervened, or if you like, even abducted the president of a country, a president that was elected, whether you agree that he was duly elected or not, but his people elected him, he was voted for whether he won the election or not.
Well, there are speculations around that.
Of course, and like we said here yesterday, Juma, even the U.S. under Biden, the former president who preceded Donald Trump, had recognized, the White House under him had recognized a different person, a gentleman, Juan Guaido, that he was the one that won that election. And that's the reason, as far as the U.S. is concerned, whether under a Democratic or Republican president, Maduro is an illegitimate president.
Yes.
That's the way they say it.
Yeah,
and there is nothing anywhere, anyone in the world can say to them to the contrary. But again, it's a reminder that in the international political system, there are no sentiments, there are no emotions.
No.
There are only interests. And those interests now determine whether there are laws or no laws. Because again, the question of are there laws in the international political system? Are there no laws? That question itself has been answered now, because the U.S. that is supposed to be the watchdog, that is supposed to be the pace setter, the pathfinder, and the beacon of democracy, because that's where we all borrowed from.
True.
Today, look at the example they are showing to us. So,
exactly.
If we're not careful, the world could be tilted in such a direction that tomorrow, even one giant in Africa can wake up and say, let's just find a way to run roughshod over these other smaller countries.
Yeah, very true. Of course, like I said, in all of this, there's always a lesson learned from this. There are some things that you will take home, some things that you just leave behind. And Lane, I always say, once you're in leadership, you have to lay that example. It's very important. And this is like a warning to other countries for them to learn from this. For as much as we do not see, for as much as Donald Trump is coming in, this intervention and all of that, there are some things that we really, people don't really support, and some actually support. But it's a way of leaders of smaller countries to look inwardly, to do the right thing by the people. It shows that when it comes to security, when it comes to education, when it comes to health, when it comes to basic needs of individuals, do the right thing. It's very important if you're in authority, so that like you said, there'll always be a Donald Trump who won't come in and just trample on the fact that it's a smaller country, we can do and undo and get away with it, and nothing will happen. There's no questions asked. So my dad will always say, no apologies, no regrets. So let's move on. So you will not ask me a question. Even if I do all of these things, if I trample on a smaller country, I can actually get away with it, and you won't say anything about it. So I think it's an eye-opener for so many countries to learn from leaders, especially, to actually learn from and see that, oh my goodness, sometimes whatever I'm doing, that I feel that no one will ask questions, or I can just do whatever I want, no questions asked. There are people watching, and if you're not careful, that power can be stripped off you at any time.
A brilliant way to land on that conversation, quite frankly. Well, we're taking a quick break now. Let's remind you, it's a Tuesday, as we now join Ramsey Enoch Abu to bring you Inspirational. Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily, while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and international.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Hello and welcome once again to Heart with Ramsey Enoch. Today, I just really want to encourage someone, because we need to encourage ourselves. we need to be encouraged. Why do we need to encourage ourselves? Because everybody's capacity is not the same. What you can withstand is different from what I can withstand. There are ways you handle issues, situations of life that I don't even know at all. But we need to encourage ourselves. And that's showing love too. Because if I decide to encourage you, I'm trying to show love. Let me just say this, that courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes courage is the quiet voice at the end of the day spring. And I will try again tomorrow. This is coming from Mary Ann Radmacher. Courage, as it is often misunderstood as bold, dramatic, and being somebody that is full of action. Courage is beyond that. Courage is beyond that. All right. This is a misunderstanding. But then everyone is entitled to their thoughts. But I would like us also to know that courage is not always being bold, being dramatic, being able to talk, being able to look into everybody's eyes and tell them the truth. Courage is personal and unseen. It can be the decision to face a new day after a series of failure. Listen, I said courage, can be the decision to face a new day after a series of failure. You try, you failed. You try again, you failed. You try again, you failed. Most of the inventions that you see today is something that was done by some set of people. The first time they failed. The second time they failed. The third time. In fact, at the end of it, people were not believing in them anymore because they were already known to be failures. But then, courage gave them the boldness. Courage gave them the mindset that we need to keep doing it until we get it right. We won't stop doing it. People will tell you, well, if you're doing the same thing the same way, you cannot get a different result. But it even takes courage for you to do different things, different ways, and get the result. Because after the first set of failure, you may just don't believe in yourself anymore. You may not have the courage to do it anymore because of what people will say. People around you might be saying so many things at a particular time. Some people may tell you, well, is it must you do this thing? But you want to get it right. They don't know what is the drive, what is behind it. So it doesn't matter how many times you fail. Have the courage to do it again. Give it a try. Do it a different way, but don't stop doing it until you get it. And that's the reason I said when we talk about courage, it can be the decision to face a new day after a series of failure. To speak up when it's hard or simply keep going. All right? Speaking out when it's hard. When no one believes in you, you still keep speaking it. Because you know that, yes, if you have the courage to say it, if you can say it, you can seize it. That's what courage is. So what do you have to do? You should know that courage is also to simply keep going when everything in you says stop, stop, stop. Human beings are saying stop. The circumstance is saying stop. The economy is saying stop. Everything is saying stop. Even your body system is saying stop because you've done it over and over and over and over again. But then you have the courage. You are a courageous man, you're a courageous woman, and you have a target, you have a pursuit, you have a result that you're working towards. And you say, no, I'm not going to stop until I get to the end. I'm not going to stop until I get the result. That is how a courageous man move. That is how a courageous woman move and think. Whatever I say as far as this speech, this inspirational, this heart-to-heart discussion is concerned, I want you to know that your mentality needs to be up and doing. Your mental ability matters. A lot of things will want to stop you. The economy is fighting. It could even be people within your cycle. Do you know how many people are smiling with you today, but they go behind to say different things? Do you know how many people are flaunting themselves around you today? Do you know how many people are condemning you behind? Even if you get to know these things, because there is something you are after, something positive, you don't need to stop. You need to build courage and keep going. Even when everybody said enough is enough, you don't stop. Even when everybody is saying, hey, come on, must you die doing this thing? Tell them. You will achieve your aim in life and destiny. And that's the reason we need to be courageous in everything that we do. I'm not talking about hypocrisy right now. I'm not talking about sycophancy. Trying to do what you know you cannot do. That's not what I'm saying. But when you have a vision, when you have a dream, when you have a pursuit, no matter the darkness, no matter how things are getting very difficult, no matter how there are signs telling you to stop, you don't have to stop. Have the courage to go. Don't care what people will say. Because whatever you do, people must say something, whether positive or negative. So what do you have to do? Just keep pushing. Be courageous and know that everything pointing to you stopping should not stop you. Be courageous. Let me let you know also that courage lives in persistence. In silent strength, there is courage. And in the everyday struggle of the ordinary people trying to do the right thing. This quote beautifully captures the essence of quiet bravery. Courageous people are not noisemakers, but they are determined people. They want it done and they want it done. No matter the obstacles, they want it done. They might not be noisemakers. They might not be talking every time, but they are brave people, very intelligent people. And I also like to let you know that the quotes that I spoke about earlier acknowledge that sometimes the most heroic act is not found in battle cries, but in the determination to keep trying, courageously trying. Everyone has days when they feel defeated or lost. You are down, your system, you keep pushing your system, you can't do it anymore. Someone once told me a story about the army officers when they are doing press up, and they do it to a point that their body system can't carry them anymore. What carries them at that point is their heart and their mind. You see them keep pressing on. So what am I trying to say? Be courageous in everything that you do, especially if you know that it is the right thing. Choose to rise, not because it is easy, but because it is necessary. Thank you very much for listening to us today on Heart to Heart. It's good for us to talk heart to heart. There are some things people can't tell you ordinarily, but then when you listen and watch Heart to Heart, you get to hear those things that will keep you going to help you achieve your daily target, your monthly target, and your yearly target, and the courage to keep moving, achieving what you need to achieve in life. Many thanks for watching Heart to Heart today. My name once again is Ramsey Enoch. Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye for now.
Wake up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debates, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
Watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m., Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television. All right, you are welcome back from that inspiration. I hope you were highly inspired when it comes to being inspirationally motivated by Ramsey Enoch Abo. And at about this time is the newspaper review segment. And we are going to start with the first paper of the day. And the first paper is the Vanguard newspaper. Now below the nameplate is a star story of the day, and that is on page 13. And it says, terrorists abduct passengers on busy Kwara highway. And of course we have a rider there, and we have about three riders, and it says set police outposts ablaze in Niger, residents flee communities in Akwara Bargu local government area after weekend's deadly attack by bandits, and normalization of mass killings, Obi tells FG. And if you're wondering what FG is all about, it is the federal government. And I'm still on the Vanguard newspaper on page 49. It says Trump sets sights on Greenland, threatens Cuba, Colombia, and Mexico. And of course, the writer there says disposed Venezuelan leader pleads not guilty to narco-terrorism charges. U.S. President warns as Rodriguez sworn in new leader. Says worse fate awaits her if right thing isn't done. Like we and I spoke about this yesterday,
Right.
that she has to do the right thing, but her worst thing.
And right thing is defined by the U.S.
Right thing is defined by the U.S. Now we're moving on to page 8, and it says here, Wike APC strive on warpath over rivers, and that's on page 8 of the Vanguard newspaper. And of course, the rider there reads, it says, leave rivers alone. Wike warns APC's National Secretary Basiru. And then it says, resign now, stop destabilizing our party. APC National Scribe attacks Wike. And then here it says over 33% Nigerian immigrants in U.S. live on public benefits, and that's from Trump himself. That's the United States president. And then what's it with that? What did we do?
I mean, one would have thought it would always, we would also use this medium to highlight the contributions that Nigerians in the U.S. make.
Exactly.
Then, well, I'll be naive to expect you to say that, right?
You'll be naive. And for the fact that we have go to the health sector in the United States, Igbos, Yorubas, and they're doing extremely
Populated by Nigerians.
Populated by Nigerians, doing extremely well. And these are individuals with high profile. When you talk to neurologists, when you talk to when you talk about surgeons and all of that, they are Nigerians. All right. So let's do on the Vanguard newspaper now. And it says here, and that's on sports news, Super Eagles trash Mambas 4-0, zoom into quarterfinals. And it says, basically that's it. We have the Mr. and Mrs. So please go out and get yourself a copy of the Vanguard to be well abreast with issues making rounds. Next paper is The Guardian. Over to you.
We begin with the one on the top right end of the front page of The Guardian today. It says, Osun APC accuses state government of inducing a local government crisis, seeks NGC intervention. Of course, the APC in Osun can no longer accuse the PDP since the government now has moved to a court party. All right, Maduro pleads not guilty in U.S. court, says, I am still president. That reminder was apt. Venezuela treatment, lesson to Nigeria, ADC warns Tinubu. Tax reform risks sluggish, uncertain execution timelines over tardy NSW. Equities break 100 trillion naira barrier as 14 firms control 50% of markets. Ondo, courts shut down as judiciary workers begin indefinite strike. APC draws a battle line with Wike over Rivers political control. That's a tough one going on in Rivers State right now. Wike believes that he's the godfather of Rivers politics, regardless of political affiliation. But then it's a bit interesting and complicated for him, given that Fubara, his estranged political godson, has moved from the PDP to the APC. And now the APC says, well, you can't control Rivers politics.
No, you
all
cannot.
right. I mean, if anything, you should resign and leave our party for us.
Alone.
FG introduces new measures to curb WAEC NECO exam malpractices. What are those measures? You can take a look at page 8 for details. Obi chides federal government on killing spree, over 40 slain in Niger State. Even the president has spoken against that. He has ordered security agencies to bring those perpetrators to book. And the last one on the Guardian front page this morning, Southeast-Southwest Alliance, shortest route to Igbo presidency, says Kalu. You can find details on page 24. Please pick up a copy of the Guardian today and read up details. Next port of call is the New Telegraph.
All right, now the New Telegraph, above the nameplate of the New Telegraph, it says market capitalization crosses 100 trillion naira mark on renewed investor confidence. And below the nameplate here on page 2, it says OT's Dash Stripe won't stop Tinubu, APC's victory in 2027, and that's from Senator Kalu. And on page 3 and 28, FG set to end WAEC NECO exam malpractices in 2026. And the writer reads, JAM rules out increase in UTME fees. And on page 28 here, it says, Makinde sacks SSG. Professor Adeyemo announces instant replacement. And on page 7, that's a picture of Aliko Dangote. It says, Dangote refinery, we didn't shut down due to maintenance issues. Came out to debunk the issue of saying that they shut down because of the amount of liters of petrol they made.
Right.
And of course, the star story there says APC, that's the All Progressive Congress, to the FCT minister, Nyesom Wike, resign. Don't bring PDP spirit into our party.
You see politicians, all of a sudden they know that there's PDP spirit.
There's PDP spirit.
The whole time the man was fighting his own party, a party that brought him into prominence, gave him a platform, all right, was using that, leveraging that to help advance the interest of your party.
Exactly.
You know, it was a PDP spirit, but now the cock has come home to roost.
And of course, you find that read on page 3 and 4, and the writer says, may sue him over 600 billion naira allegation, says minister, over playing his political card. And it says, as Wike threatens APC scribe with consequences, says ruling party shouldn't take his support for Tinubu for granted. Okay, that's Wike firing back, and let's just see how well this plays.
Like I said, Jemai, the chickens have come home to roost now. You see,
oh my goodness.
Again, that's why they say in politics, the only thing you have is interest. Friendship is not permanent. Enmity is not permanent. It's only interest. And even in local politics, that's what we're seeing playing out in front of us.
That is what we're seeing, basically. And of course, here it says, Maduro, I was captured, pleads not guilty on drug trafficking charges. And that's on page 4 and 5. And the writer reads, ECOWAS urges respect for state sovereignty, international law. And here it says CBN survey identifies key business constraint in December. And that's on page 25. And here it says Niger killings, mass exodus as terrorists threaten communities. We're still going back and forth when it comes to insecurity, but hope it's nipped in the bud as soon as possible. And of course, here it says Trump, over 33% of Nigerian immigrants in U.S. depend on public benefits. Please don't rub it in our faces. And that's on page 2. And it says study links infant screen exposure to brain changes teen anxiety, and that's on page 30. These studies are just coming up with different things.
Right.
I think we should look into it and take it seriously. Okay.
But again, it means we have to invest very significantly in research, right?
Yes, and all right. So basically, that is it. The next is the Daily Monitor, and Uyi will run us through.
All right. Thank you. Let's start with the one about the nameplates. Has a picture of the chairman of the Dangote Group. It says Dangote Refinery dismisses shutdown claims, maintains 50 million liters PMS daily output. Writer says blast fuel importers for spreading falsehoods, exploiting Nigerians. That's a narrative that's in the open right now. Tinubu writes Senate to confirm board members of NMDPRA and UPRC. All right, it says Khan restates confidence in CDS-led armed forces to hunt down Niger market attackers. A court gives EFCC go-ahead to temporarily freeze 30.7 million naira linked to alleged NNPC fraud. Insecurity, Gombe bans scrap dealers, begins tenant profiling. I think that's also an important strand in how we fight insecurity. You've got to do some sort of due diligence on those people coming to take your place, rent your house. All right. In the banking sector, they say it's KYC, know your customer. So if corporate entities are, especially in the finance space, are expected to do background checks, due diligence on prospective customers, why shouldn't a landlord or landlady or a property owner, property manager also have the responsibility of asking questions as to the person they are bringing into the house beyond the fact that they can pay rent? I think that's what the Gombe State government is doing. We saw a state or two start this a while ago, but whether they were able to sustain this initiative or not, that is yet to be seen. And we do hope that similarly, the government of Gombe State will be able to see this to a logical conclusion. Let's take a look at the star headline for you. Wike APC National Secretary in verbal war over Rivers. Two riders associated with that headline. Stay clear of Rivers politics, Wike warns APC National Scribe. You are not God. Resign, Basiru, replies FCT Minister. Return Nigerians need leadership, not your Paris menu. Atiku tells Tinubu. We understand the president has been in Europe for a while now, so the former vice president, Atiku Abubakar, is saying there's no better time to come back home because leadership is desperately needed at this point in time. All right, those are your headlines from the Daily Monitor. Let's take it over now to the First Daily.
All right, now the First Daily, and beside the nameplate of the First Daily says, resign as minister, face Rivers politics. And that's from APC National Secretary Blas Wike. All right, a lot of people have said that if you're going to concentrate on being the FCT minister, just be here. You're doing a fantastic job. We're happy with the road construction and all of that. And you're trying to nip in the bud when it comes to insecurity. Funny enough, the one chance issue, just to give it to the FCT minister, it's not as high as it used to be when it comes to one chance incidents and all of that. just put your energy here, making the Federal Capital Territory a welcoming space for individuals to come in, and your amazing job. Look at what you're doing in Cairo, for instance. That road has been abandoned, and yet taking out that time and giving contractors the deadline for that. And you see, they work day and night. You did a fantastic job here.
Within a very short period.
Within a very short period, a fantastic job. And you said, and in the newspaper we read that the FCT minister, he said in 2025, although it was a good year, but at the same time, a lot of what he wanted to achieve, we were not able to. But in 2006, there's going to be much more things to achieve. You're doing a fantastic job here.
So why don't you focus?
Focus and just allow Rivers State to run on its own when it comes to the governor and all of that. So all this tussle here and there.
But Juma, is that realistic, given that Mr. Wike is first a politician before anything else?
But it doesn't matter even if you are a politician before anything else. Remember that you had predecessors before.
You're thinking as a broadcaster, he's thinking as a politician.
No, I am telling you that is the right thing to think about, because
politicians don't go by the right thing. They go by expediency.
But let me tell you something, for instance, if his the predecessors of the FCT, let's say former, I don't want to mention any name now, still had, of course, you know who started the revolution when it comes to changing the structure of the Federal Capital Territory. We know who started it, although individuals were very unhappy about it at the beginning. But when you look at it now and you see the structure and you see how it has changed over time. So if that particular FCT minister comes in and says, I started what you are doing right now, and interferes, how do you think that will make him? Although we know that the FCT minister is a very strong individual, he would not bow to anyone.
He's wired differently.
I like that part. He's wired differently. But really, with all of this is embarrassing. Everyone telling you that, one, do not bring the spirit of PDP into our party, because they know that, well, like you said, we know that there's a spirit. And the truth is, just focus on the appointment in which you hold, the political office in which you hold at the moment. If you didn't have any political office at all, you were not doing anything, and you decide to interfere because in your own, your heart is with the people of Rivers State without any interior motive. You don't want to show the force of power and all of that. We will understand that, hey, he doesn't have a political appointment, and of course he was the former governor of Rivers State, and he holds it big and dear to his heart. But with all of this is becoming embarrassing now. I think he should take a cue and just sit back and just watch, so people can always remember you by the legacy in which you've built before, and revert and say and infer and say, oh my goodness, when Governor Nyesom Wike was in power, things were done differently, it was better. But not people coming to say you're interfering and you're making things difficult and all of that. It's not, you know, someone says if you're doing something good and there is a but in it, just know you've not done anything at all. So I think it's
that's food for thought.
That's food for thought, really. This is very embarrassing as far as I'm concerned. That's me just saying it now. All right, still on the First Daily, and we have here, Tinubu appoints Magnus Abe as NUPRC chairman, seeks Senate approval. And it says Maduro faces U.S. court on narco-terrorism drug charges. And the Star Story says $9.7 million terror financing case. Okay, we keep hearing this, but there's no face behind it. So let's see. Court denies bail to Bauchi commissioner and others. Below that, it says presidency dismisses AI claims over Tinubu, Kagame, Paris photo. Okay.
You know, it's interesting, Jemai, because what actually happened was...
what is going on?
Yes, they met in Europe.
Yes, they did.
Yes, had nice time together. I think it was over dinner and all of that. Took a picture. When that picture was released, somebody had said, look, this picture was AI generated, because it even had a watermark on it. But then, presidency, as always, I mean, the media handlers of the president came out and said, no, it was not AI generated.
At all.
We only used AI to enhance. So the question is, what sort of enhancements? Can we put specifics to the kind of enhancements that had been done? In fact, the latest update now is that the presidency is saying that, well, the enhancement was done using Grok. And we know what that means. With Grok, for example, if I have a picture of me taken in this outfit I'm wearing this morning on the show, I can turn this to a plain wine color tie, all right, on Grok, all right? I can turn this to a black suit, pitch black suits, that sort of thing. I can even remove the tie. Those are just the elementary things I can do with. So when you say you enhanced it using Grok or AI generically, it raises questions as to why did we even have to enhance
in the first place?
Can't you leave it organic?
Exactly. All right, now still moving on here. So, of course, the first daily, it's full with lots of basic headlines. And it says here, INEC begins second phase of nationwide voter registration. And PSC warns against illegal police recruitment. Fees targets middlemen. Venezuela crisis, ADC faults FG silence, warns Nigeria. Now, below the foot of the first daily says ex-Abia Governor Theodore Orji defects from PDP to APC. All right, now no comment because of our time. And then over to you with the next paper.
All right, let's make progress, everyone, at this point. As we now take a look at the Nation newspaper, from the top left, it says there with a picture of former governor of Kano State, Kwankwaso. Kwankwaso, Governor Yusuf parts ways. Federal lawmakers split. Why did they part ways? Well, read up details on the second page of the Nation newspaper today. Stock market capitalization hits 101 trillion naira. That's quite historic. It says feats milestone. Details await you on page 3. Arraigned Maduro, I'm president. Ondo Justice Ministry, 3 others lead in performance review. Kalu, timeout for Oti's government. All right, going further down, Sahara Group strategizes as reforms lift power sector 2026 outlook. NRS chair, tax reforms will support sustainable growth. Laws not targeted at opposition figures. Wike Basiru clash over Rivers politics. Minister leave states alone. Party chief resign, face politics. Well, I think the man is already facing politics as it stands right now. Those are your headlines from the Nation newspaper. Our last port of call this morning will be the Punch newspaper. And Juma has those headlines for us.
All right, now the Punch newspaper giving us some very punchy headlines here. And it says here, insurgency, AU extends Nigeria, others join military operation. And that you will find on page 3 on the Punch newspaper. And it says here, Sahara Group eyes 7,000 megawatts in major power sector push. And that's on page 23. And on page 30, it says, Joshua may quit boxing after car crash. Unfortunate incident there. That's the trauma that comes, after every incident. It's very unfortunate there. And here, that's a picture of Wale Adun, and it says, and it's on page 9, Nigerians cut household spending by 14 trillion naira as inflation bites hard, okay? Not really sure about that. And the Star story says, 2027 battle, Rivers crisis escalates as top APC governors back for Bara. And then the Star story reads, APC Secretary, FCT Minister clash over Rivers government, how Imo politics sparked Wike APC rift. And it says now it's on Venezuela, Maduro arraigned in U.S. court amid protest. And that is all on the Punch newspaper. In fact, that's all on the newspaper review segment on Global Morning. And like we've always mentioned before, all the newspaper reviews on Global Morning is basically from the papers. Global Television has no input whatsoever when it comes to the editorial judgment of the newspaper. It's still Global Morning. Up next is Social Buzz with Ogochukwu Momono. Stay tuned.
Wake up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m., Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
Good morning, the Global Morning crew, and good morning to you, our viewers. I am August Mobron. It's another good day to look at what's buzzing on social media. But before we get right into business for today, we have with me today in the studio, Uyi Agmofwebe. Good morning, Uyi.
Good morning, Ogochukwu. So good to see you.
Thank you so much. You look good.
Thank you.
I love the gray suits. But Uyi, did you notice that this morning, I think Hamilton started this morning in Abuja. I don't know about any
I would have to confess at the point I was asking myself, was it about to rain? Because the sort of breeze or wind that came, it was a bit unusual for January. I mean, like we have seen in recent years. But I loved the feel altogether. At least I was armed with my jacket.
Very well. At least I can actually tell that yes, Harmattan has begun, you know, in Abuja, maybe around Nigeria too. All right, into the topic of discuss today, we're talking about a woman who has raised alarm over, you know, spotting strange movements in raw meats. Okay, a lady has sparked reactions online after sharing her shock over something unusual she noticed in meat she reportedly bought from a local market. According to her, while preparing the meat at home, she observed that it appeared to be pulsating as if there was movement inside it. The unsettling sight left her confused and alarmed, prompting her to call attention to it online. That's the video of the meat. I think this is a bit usual. I think I've seen something like this, especially in chicken. You know, sometimes you get to put them inside after, you know, with the hot water and all of that, and they still find a way to jump out. Even after cutting the neck, you know, cutting out the head, they find a way to jump out. But that of beef, I don't think I've seen beef, and if I should see this, I'll tell you, I don't think I'll make that food. I don't think I'll use that particular beef anymore. Maybe throw it away. It's more like he's still breathing even after cutting it into pieces, to be very honest. Okay, let's take a comment from social media and see if there are some persons like me on social media who will not use that meat to cook. I know I've seen chicken, but this one is beef, and I don't know how to explain even after chopping it into pieces. All right, the first comment we're taking is coming from Olo1, and Olo1 says, this is known as fasculation, and it's actually a sign of very fresh meat. It's no big deal. Okay. Hope it's not our village people coming like that. You might say it's no big deal, but for me, it's a big deal. All right, the next comment is coming from Alajoke Ade, and Alajoke Ade says, must people post everything on social media? This is very normal. Buy cow meat and catfish. Oh, really? Okay, posting everything on social media. There are some things that are strange, and if you've not seen it, please post it on social media so that people can help clarify. Me, for one, I'll tell you, I've not seen that of beef. I've seen of chicken, but not beef. And catfish, I don't eat catfish. So please, Ade, if people see something strange or if something happens, I think that's the reason why we have social media. So far, you are not posting anything that is contrary to, you know, the rules guiding that particular media you're using. All right, the third and last comment for today is Damsel 1995, and this person says, I have experienced it before. I have even watched some of the meat, and I was trying to clean a part of the meat, then I realized it was breathing. My eyes first blow. I dropped it and ran away till the owner of the meat came. Okay. All right, so that's blurry eyes. I think that's the first thing I'm going to experience if I get to see that in beef. All right, so I'm calling you to the women's corner. I know men don't cook so much, but I'm sure when you were a bachelor, you must have cooked. And also, I don't know if you've experienced this kind of incident.
I've not experienced it.
Okay.
I mean, I've not had a personal sort of encounter, but it's called fasciculation. All right, it happens in this kind of instance because, one, it is indicative, basically, of the fact that it's fresh meat, whether it's what we call white protein, like chicken, or it is goat, or it is beef, or whatever it is. But basically, it happens with chicken. All right, so it's not something to worry about. It's not something to be superstitious about, and all of that. And again, sometimes it's under it's determined by the circumstances under which the particular chicken, for example, was slaughtered. All right, most times maybe because of the violence and the tension and things like that. It doesn't happen every time. Maybe for this particular person, it is the first experience. I'm sure it is the first experience. So you know what my people say is when you have a new experience, I mean something you have never experienced your entire life, you take it to the leader of the community to also look at it, so it doesn't look as if you're the only person who has experienced it. Also, you can also have guidance, and I'm sure there's nothing wrong with that. It also happens with human beings. All right, yes, muscles, some sort of twitches in your muscle underneath the skin.
Yeah, I think sometimes my muscle twitch like on its own.
It happens, yes. It can be caused by anxiety, by stress, sometimes even by caffeine, especially for people who are into black coffee, organic coffee, coffee without cream and sugar, things like that. But again, this is why we need to learn. This is why we need to read, so we understand how basically biology works.
Oh, so much. Thank you very much, Uwe, for your contribution. Now you know it's nothing to worry about. Please cook your meat, spice it properly, and make sure that you eat very well. All right, and that's all we have for you today on Sausage Buzz here on Global Morning. We hope that you are part of the conversation, but if you're not, you can actually drop your thoughts on using our social media platform. Is on YouTube, Global TV NG. Tell us what you think, or if you have gone through this experience, tell us what the experience was like. And that's all. I am Ogochukwu Now, please stay with us as Global Morning continues. Bye for now.
Wake up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all. From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
Watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m., Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debates, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
Watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m., Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
All right, let's put our conversation on the road for you, everyone. 2025, many people have said, was historic, of course, a very trying year for Nigeria, both for the government and for the people, whether you're talking about the economy or the challenge associated with insecurity. Now we've turned into another year. 2026 is the 6th day into this year, and there are people who strongly believe that those big events from the year before will shape this country across many fronts. And to think about how that this is also an electionary year for Nigeria, again, that's a big conversation on the front burner for not just the media, but of course for Nigerians everywhere in the world. To help us find sense in these developments and what the implications are for the people of this country, we're joined by a politician, a political thought leader, and someone who has also had a shot at being the governor of Ogun State. I would like to say it's a delight to have Segun Sowunmi on the program this morning. Thank you for coming.
Good morning. It's nice to be here. My
Thank
favorite people in the year.
Thank you for being here.
Happy New Year to you.
Yeah, same to you. Happy New Year, Nigerians.
All right, let's begin with the new year, of course. But we can talk about this new year and also look at some of the big things from last year. I mean, politically, we saw defections, governors defecting with their base, and people said this is more like unprecedented in the political history of Nigeria, and they said it will have serious implications for this country. In fact, there are those who now say that it is an attempt by the ruling All Progressives Congress to turn Nigeria into a one-party state. What are your thoughts?
Thank you. It's a very important thing you want us to talk about, but I would like to give you some context.
Okay.
We started this democracy in 1998 and did the first election in 1999. Essentially, the habits and the character and the playbook we ran seemed to be like everybody wants to be in the ruling party. Only a few political leaders demonstrated discipline over the years to be in opposition. Among them, of course, is the president now, and the late immediate past president, President Muhammadu Buhari, who showed discipline of staying in opposition. When a party is in government, even from 1999 when Obasanjo won, the first thing that occurs to a leader is to be leader of all and not want to be too hostile at first in forming cabinets. In 1999, you must remember that a significant number of top stakeholders from the other parties joined that cabinet. One of the big ones that help you to see what I'm trying to show you is the late former Attorney General of the country, Chief Bola Ige. Very much an AD man, very much an Awolowo man, but he served as Attorney General.
In a PDP government.
In the PDP government that is clearly not of the same ilk. And we continued that model. By the time we got to 2003, when we're going to do the next election of President Obasanjo, a lot of people had moved into the PDP then. And that stayed so until we got to 2011, 2015, when we began to see that the trajectory of the ruling party always winning the election, and a lot of people who want to be president and so many other things they want to be, now looking for platform, began to morph into another opposition. They became successful in 2015 when Muhammadu Buhari became president by an amalgamation of two strong opposition leaders, Bola Tinubu and him, and a lot of people who don't stay in one place, who joined them and formed that government. By the time we got to 2019, it was clear that a lot of people, a lot of politicians wanted that party. But anyway, 2023 was the best opportunity we had at having politicians be on equally divided platform for election purposes. Some people stayed in the PDP, backed Atiku. Some stayed in APC, backed the president, the president, and some obviously did an outlier situation with Peter Obi in Labour Party. For me, that was the opportunity for us to have at least 3, if you like, equal political energy. But what happened next? Those who ordinarily should know that they have a duty to build their own parties now began to look for another party. So in the process, some of them, all of the issues of PDP and all of the challenges of how we manage democratic governance here from the point of view of party meant that the PDP was and is no longer that platform that anybody could easily be happy to go challenge it. The biggest problem that the PDP has is the legal contraption that reflects a risk that you may not be able to produce candidates. If you think about it, they're going to run an election in Abuja, and the PDP has not been listed. They're going to run an election in Ekiti. The PDP has not been listed. The same in Osun. So there's no way anybody who wants to run an election will not be thinking, where do I go? Right. Now, if the other people had been stable over the years, people would have kind of like gone to them. But unfortunately, a lot of people who are quite unstable in terms of party management and party loyalty have created an amalgamation of angry people who are looking for a platform or contest. So some people are not interested in that. So you can see a lot of them now moving to the line of best and easy fit, which is the ruling party. So when people say the president is the one making them come, I don't buy that lazy excuse. I mean, the PDP, I've been in the PDP and the president has not made me come to his party yet, even though I kind of like know him and I sort of understand where he's going with policy. So the answer to the question strictly is that our politics is undergoing a flux and we do not know how it will eventually settle. If the ruling party succeeds in winning the election by this amalgamation of all of those forces, powerful and important strategic forces that have dovetailed into it, we're going to run into a scenario where the best thing that models what we'll be doing will probably be China, in the sense that there will be one ruling party that is very big and there will be smaller parties that may not be able to pull that kind of strong challenge. Let's see, but I don't think even the ruling party, I don't think they are paying attention to what's happening the way they should. You see, I always say PDP is the University of Democratic Party Management in Nigeria because there's nothing else to follow except the playbook of PDP. And the kinds of things that has made PDP to become the way it is, even if the ruling party is not careful, they will implode. And one of the things that can implode them is that how do you even accommodate the election desires of people who are now big, have enough money, have enough resources, and you have only one ticket? How do you accommodate them? And with time, you're going to find out that some of them you can persuade, some of them you can bully, some of them you can patronize, but some of them you will not be able to find any way to manage them. And eventually, if you're not very careful, you're going to implode it. So I pray and I hope that that's one of the reasons why I started the alternative, actually. I started the alternative that we may begin to revisit and question this motive. And hopefully we can then create a new generation of people who want the best for their country or who even want to participate. And then we can see how far we can go. And I stopped short of offering it for registration now because I didn't want it to pollute the environment as it is. Too many political parties, all of them jostling to be with the president. So I thought, okay, let's just play whatever game we can play now. And after 2027 is done and dusted, we can look at it. And then we may be able to create an alternative political party that has some strong ideology that can carry us. Today, in Nigeria today, the party that has the strongest verifiable ideological underpinning is actually the Labour Party, because it resembles the Labour Party everywhere in the world,
including the UK,
everywhere in the world, in Brazil, anywhere you have a Labour Party, there is an understanding that this is a welfareist party that is supposed to look at the big middle.
Right.
But if I ask you, what's the ideological underpinning of the ADC, you'll probably be looking for so many words to explain what even you do. If I ask you, what's the ideological underpinning of the PDP, originally, the ideological underpinning of PDP was a conservative party that was pro-business, less of government in business and what have you. But if you look at it, the APC has morphed so much. They are so private sector driven that you don't even know where they are socialist or welfareist or progressive.
It's somewhere in between.
It's wrong. So the point I'm making is that the parties in the country are no longer parties strictly. They're just election contest platforms. And if that is what we have become, then we'll have to live with the consequences of what we have.
I think Joy has a question.
Joy.
Now let's talk about corruption. Now we know that corruption remains a major obstacle in development. Now, do you think it's an institutional failure or a leadership failure?
Well, I think that the thing is that for a very long time, I've always followed the conversation around corruption and how much of a role corruption plays in all of the things we do here. I think we over-glamorize the topic.
Okay.
Yes, there are issues here, but we have a lot of institutions that ordinarily should mitigate against that. The only thing that we have done to ourselves is that we talk about it a lot, we talk about it a lot, we talk about it a lot, but we don't have the courage to apply the books. We don't have the courage to apply consequence. Because really, if you are not a governor and you are not a president, you are not exempt. So even if you are corrupt, they can arrest you, try you midway. Even if you are a governor or a president and you are corrupt, you would eventually leave 4 years, 8 years. You can also be released for corrupt. But you see, when you imagine that we tend to be interested in the corruption conversation, but we're not interested in the application of the consequence. There are too many former this, former that who are roaming around who should really be in prison. And you can't be sensationalizing and politicizing the conversation to such a point that people can start pointing a finger. Oh, the people that are with APC are free. The people that are not with you are not free. That's not how to fight corruption. If you want to fight corruption, assuming we desire that we want to fight corruption, we need to get to the point where we say, okay, this thing has gone on for too long. We need to draw a line and we need to say never again would we allow this to happen without serious consequences. And it will require us to clean up our investigation and evidence-taking process, which is best done by the police, really. And then it will also require us to get our judges to be aware that anytime a public officer comes before them for corruption, they should have zero. We can shame them. Nobody has told us that if somebody is corrupt, we need to be relating with them. We can ostracize them. We can take a position that, look, Mr. Man, until you get yourself out of your corrupt thing, you are not my brother from now. But we can do that. Nobody's going to stop us from doing that. We can reorientate ourselves that if he's corrupt, I can't be protecting because it's from my tribe, or it's my brother, or it's my friend, or it's my church. We can't be giving them traditional titles. If we've given you a traditional title and you have been indicted with corruption, we should be able to write you a letter that you no longer can carry our title pending the time. There has to be, collective desire to say enough. Other nations can be making progress and we will have promise and not make progress. Nigeria is a nation where all of the citizens, every damn one of us, the one in the back parlor, the one in the church, the one in the house, the market woman, the politician, we all have something in common. And that is that we have the belief that more and better is possible. So that means that it remains for us to now internalize what our own role is in creating that better. And if we want to fight corruption, then we can all fight corruption together. And we can also insist that when there's a corruption issue on the table, we're not going to sensationalize, we're going to be very serious about it, we're going to be very firm about it, and we're going to be saying, what are the issues, and we're going to stick with them. We can't be excited about other people's issues. America has done something, we're excited, we're even more interested. Oh, they've done something in Venezuela, we're very excited.
Exactly.
But yet, we're very unexcited in our own case. And even when we talk about the ones in our country, we talk about it from the point of view of maybe tribal bigotry, or we just self-hate ourselves. We're not clinical and professional. We have converted our country into a country of skits. All we do is skit about everything.
But that's the fastest way to make money in this country. There's so much unemployment.
I understand, but
young ones.
I understand, but you have to. I understand, but there's something I need to let you know that you see, nations are constantly in the process of projecting their story. If we now have a platform that allows us to do the same, we must be very intentional and very responsible about saying that we are the most populous black nation in the world. Our duty is to also promote ourselves. We cannot have foreign and international conspiracies so deep against. I mean, somebody telling me that Mungo Park discovered River Niger. Bloody hell, River Niger has been there for millennia. Our people have been drinking, sleeping, bathing water. Are you the one? So now we have an opportunity to kind of like rewrite our own story. To say, this is who we are, this is where we are, this is our culture, this is our tribe, this is our food and all that. And all of us must chip in. You know why?
Why?
No other body is going to help us advertise who we are. And we live here.
Right.
We can't accept the narrative that nothing good is happening in our country. Look at how beautiful you guys are looking. And you're still in Nigeria. And I think I'm not doing too badly. So when people come and tell us that our country is a shithole, we should be able to say, no, you can't say that to us. Your country is not any better. And we should be able to prove to them that their country is not any better. Because everywhere you go, you see enough riots in their country that you sometimes even wonder, why do these guys brag so much? They're not all that.
But again, I mean, now that you have raised that, we're going to circle back to politics in a bit. Maybe talk about you too as a politician. But in the meantime, our foreign policy, I mean, look at you talking about how we had been called asshole country by President Trump the other time and all of that. Something that we're still trying to recover from. And prior to that, a former British Prime Minister had said, we're fantastically corrupt. What does that say about how we relate with the rest of the world, about our foreign policy, how we react to big events across the world, including, for example, what has just happened in Venezuela?
Okay, well, the thing is that, to be fair, the people that are leading now, including the president, as far as I'm concerned, I've always said to them, you can't lead. The only thing you guys need to do is determine the stabilization of how this country will progress, knowing fully well that you are aware of how it was meant to be based on age. You no longer have the limbs, you no longer have the heart, you no longer have the grit, you no longer even have the intellect to do this thing. So just settle the housekeeping issues. Are we running the united country? Are we fragmenting it? Are we running the parliament? Let's just finish that, then we can go and lead. Because if we were being led by people who understood what needed to happen, a significant amount of effort would have been put into rebranding the country, repurposing the country, reorientating the citizen, and letting them understand that every time you stand up, you are representing not just yourself, you are representing the entire race.
True.
You are representing Africa. Because look at it. You can show example of how well the Chinese and the Asians have done in the last 40, 50 years. You can show example of how well the Arabs have done in the last 50 years. You can show example of how much has happened in Europe and America, including the destruction in the last 50 years. What's going to be the story of Africa? So who's going to tell the story of Africa? Are we going to share one heaven with all of the people on the earth, and then we're going to accept that our own responsibility here is just to be clapping for them when they are doing well and be accepting that we're not doing well? And we're not doing as badly as that. We're just not looking at the small increases in our own development. How many kilometers of road did we have in 1999? How many did we have now? How many hospitals did we have? How many did we have now? How many of you people could even buy a proper suit in 1999? How many can now? How many of the people travel out of the country in 1999? How many can now? How many houses did we buy and have in 1999? How many did we have now? How many houses had a sewage in 1999? How many? So you can't accept the narrative that others are doing well, but you're not. Because the reality of the matter is that you're actually doing well, albeit you're not doing as well as you would have loved to do. Right. And so all the things that even color it is actually media. You're looking at a film from America, they are putting all the drama to and the dramaturgy to it, and it's looking so proper. Is that how they live every day? You're looking at their CNN and all their big media, they're talking about other people's countries. Is that how they live every day? So you need to know that if other nations are projecting the best of themselves, we have a duty to project the best of ourselves. But it's not just government It's you people, it's all of us together. We need to stop thinking that we're going to run a big nation, the most populous black nation in the world. We're going to run it on the basis of, oh, you're Hausa, you're Igbo, you're Yoruba. You can't run it like that. You need to, the people in charge, they need to get serious about telling people in the country that this concept of bigotry as a way of life has to stop. People need to be punished for inciting people. We run a country that I believe is a rainbow coalition, and it's only beautiful because everybody is part of it. I don't believe that there's one part of Nigeria that is better off than the other. There might be small challenges because of mismanagement of leadership in certain areas without consequence, but that does not mean that they're totally useless. Everybody brings something to the table. It's like being a father of a polygamous home with plenty wives and many children. Which of them do you want to die? None. You want the one that is doing well to keep doing well. You want the one that is pulling his weight to do well. You want that's how you're supposed to see your country. You're supposed to see Nigeria as, wow, so we are the most populous black nation in the world. Then we have a responsibility to represent the Africans well. And you can't represent anyone well until you represent yourself well. If you cannot love others, truly you cannot truly love yourself. Because your heart will be too bitter and sees only things that are not good in others. I always say to people, develop beautiful eyes. What beautiful eyes does is that it makes you see the good in others. You will see the things that are wrong too, but you will correct it mildly. You will be a little bit conscious of the fact that you need to be sensitive to people. And you can't run a nation of bigotry or a bunch of idiots that go over the place just shaming their country and yet saying they want to lead it. If you hate the country so much, you can't lead it.
Right.
If you despise the country so much, you can't lead it. If everything they do in the country, nothing works and nothing should work in your mind, you can't lead it. You can never lead a nation with anger or hatred or pulling it down. Every time you need to lead a nation, you need to bring hope to the table, because hope trouses everything. Everybody wakes up every day, and sometimes it's not a good day. Sometimes it's a good day, but you have to always get up every morning believing that the next day will be better.
Yeah.
Let's delve a bit on insecurity matters.
Oh, God.
Now, the intervention, let's say the interference, will I say, of the United States coming into Nigeria, do you think this has actually equipped our leaders to take security more seriously when it comes to trying to nip it in the bud now?
We have been dealing with a problem that is not very easy to solve, and it doesn't go away easily. Other nations have also had these experiences. For instance, the United Kingdom had to deal with IRA, Irish Republican Army, Sinn Féin, for years. And it took years and years and years and years before they could get out of it. Spain dealt with the Basque separatist movement for years, and it took years. Even Turkey dealt with the Kurdish movement, the PKK, for years. So the thing I'm saying is that radicalization is a very difficult thing to deal with in the nation because it touches their faith. And faith is not really tangible. Faith is hoping things unseen. Now, if you people get radicalized as a result of faith, the first thing you need to ask yourself is that if they had a better life, would they be so mad? If they could eat, they could feed, they could drive a car, they could have a good house. So you need to figure out, you need to deal with poverty. Then you need to say that, how do they even get radicalized? You need to look at their clerics. You need to be able to tell people that, listen. Believe whatever you believe, but this you can't teach this in my country. Right. Believe whatever you believe, you can't preach this in my country. Believe whatever you believe, you can't. So it means your security infrastructure must be nimble enough to stop it. Then if you say your country is a secular nation, like we say, Nigeria is a secular nation. You have allowed the penal code and the Sharia to manage certain elements, but you must ensure that those two can never override the secularity of a nation. You can't have a country where people are cutting people's hands because of things that no longer matter. You can't have a country where people are stoning people to death anymore. The world is not going to reflect on it nicely. And when you now have a situation where you're having insurgency, they're colorizing it, they are ethnicizing it, you all are allowing them. The CIA fact book says there are about 50 million Fulanis living in Nigeria, ethnic pure Fulanis. Are you going to say that all of them are bad people? But when you keep shouting, Fulani headsmen, What do you think is going to happen? When you start saying, oh, they go to Benue and something happens, they say, oh, they did it because they're Christian, but forgetting that they did some stuff in the northeast and the northwest and all of that too. Yet, you're screaming that it's because of the faith. What do you expect? And the whole world cannot be listening to the optics of the narrative, oh, there's a problem in Nigeria, they kill people today. There will come a time when somebody is going to say enough. And when they say enough, the global power, especially as now invested in the United States and Donald Trump, is strong enough to insist that we're not going to allow this. If they can go into another man's country, pick up their president from underneath their nose, put him in a cuff and took him to America and even brag about it, then that's difficult because there's a moral burden there.
Right.
They don't have any moral burden in trying to say they want to stop people killing. That's why you see Britain is not going to say anything, France is not going to say anything, nobody's going to say anything because truly and sincerely we have been struggling too much with it. But if we wanted it to stop, it's down to us. It's just, they're our sons, they're our daughters, they're our brothers. All they have to make up their mind is that, okay, we need to stop now.
But some will beg to differ and tell you you're not our sons. These individuals are missionaries that come in from other nearby borders.
Anybody that cannot manage influx of people in and out of his own country must understand that that's a feeling. If you want to go to America tomorrow, even not to go and commit crime, they've designed their country in such a way that you can't easily come in. Where they thought the Mexicans were coming in, they put a border, they put a wall there. If you want to go between Morocco and Spain, is so close. You can almost ride a ferry across, but they're not going to let you come into the country. We did the Westphalian Treaty. The Westphalian Treaty was where they sat down in 18-something and decided, let us put lines to show countries. And when we created those lines of country, then we called it, let us give the people in our country their sovereign authority. But guess what? With sovereignty comes responsibility. It's your duty to manage how people come in and out of your country. It's the collective duties of the people in the country to make sure that foreigners can't just come to the country and start.
But our borders are so porous, Chef.
Well, if your borders are porous, must they remain porous forever? Some people build the wall of China. They made up their mind that they wanted to build the wall to protect themselves and to make it easy. They built it. If your borders are porous, build. If you think that our ECOWAS protocol is making us carry heavy burden, which is that people can just come in and we can get out of it. We started the ECOWAS protocol in Lagos. The ECOWAS protocol was started in Lagos during the reign of Yakubu Gowon. And if 50-something years after, it's beginning to look like we have now become the dumping ground of crap. People are not doing that in Niger, they are not doing that in Mali, they are not doing that in Guinea, they are not doing that in Conakry, they are not doing that in Benin Republic, they are not doing that in Cameroon. Why the hell are they doing that in our country? And if what we need to say is that enough, for the meantime we're not interested, just to let people know that we're not going to take this anymore, then we got to do whatever we have to do to survive. We can't be comfortable with the idea that every day people are just been getting on earth in our life, in our country, for no reason. We're overstretching the military. People have lost their loved one, people have lost their husband, people have lost their dad, only trying to protect us. And the little bit that we're supposed to do, maybe provide information, maybe whistleblower, maybe find a way to collaborate. Who's buying them their food? Who's getting them their indomie that they eat? Who's getting them the petrol? Who's getting them the matches between the light fire? So when you have that kind of existential problem, it becomes a collective will of responsibility of everybody to say, enough, we have had enough. So no one should be standing on the side of criminals who are killing our people. If you steal a goat, you want to eat, we can understand that you are hungry. What are we going to explain is the reason for you to be kidnapping people, killing people, maiming people, disrupting life for more than how many years? Where do you see that happening even in the Middle East? Is it in Saudi Arabia where the Islam comes?
Do you think the government here is overwhelmed, the Nigerian government?
No. I think that with due respect, you had a Jonathan government. They did what they could. They didn't go. Then you had a military officer, late Muhammadu Buhari, may also rest in peace. He was here for 8 years. They couldn't solve it. Somebody's here now, 2 years plus. You can see, you're hearing a lot more bombing. You're seeing more collaboration. You can't pin all of the rot on him. No matter how angry you are with the whole thing, no matter how boastful those who say they want to take charge are without any fine idea of how to do it, you can't pin it on him. Because this matter has been on the table and they're still struggling with it. And it's not easy. You can't just tell the military, go up in the air, shoot anything in sight. You're going to end up killing criminals, you're going to end up killing civilians. Right. Non-asymmetrical wars are very draining. It costs money. You have to buy equipment. You have to deal with corruption in the military. You have to deal with so many things. So when your nation is going through this kind of stress, the responsibility of citizens of that country is to stand by their nation, because you don't even have another one anyway.
Talking about the military, now let's look at the appointment of the defense minister now by our dear President.
Brilliant appointment.
Okay, so you feel is the right step in the right direction?
No, I think that
who understands the grounds when it comes to terrain.
I think that the most important thing that the present minister brings is that it was not too long ago that he was in the theater of war himself.
Yes.
And he's held commands across all the chains. And the armed forces is one, there's esprit de corps. So ordinary, and he comes from an environment where his people supposedly have really been directly hit. So he has no skin to tolerate the continuous killing of people here under whatever guise. Therefore, now that he's Minister of Defense, you need to give him all of the support. You need to give him all of the encouragement. You need to provide the resources. You need to ensure that you open up brand cooperative with himself and other global partners. They need to shake a proper handshake with the United States. Because for whatever it's worth, do you know how many countries we have in the world that have those kinds of capability of all of that missile? Which of them have even spoken about the fact that Nigerians are dying? The United States has done it. You may not like their bravado, but you have to accept the fact that the mere fact that they are even sitting in their country worrying about people dying in our country is something. So instead of being hostile, you need to open up the collaborative, framework and do the negotiation and tell them, okay, gentlemen, thank you for helping us, because this equipment they are burning costs money.
Right, a lot of money.
Thank you. The logistics to bring their people to that place cost money, and anything can go wrong. So I think because we can't continue to be in an internal war, where the only country that has the largest number of displaced people that is not in an external war, we're the ones fighting ourselves, killing ourselves, manipulating ourselves, and I am utterly disappointed that we are saying to the world that we don't even have the intelligence and the intellect and the security information to name and shame the culpable backers. I mean, come on. Something must be there in the books. Somebody must have been fingered somewhere. We have done absolutely nothing. We have allowed political consideration and every other consideration to make us paper over crime. And now, if another country comes up and puts up a list and says, these are the people backing them, we will start crying and start shouting. Should we have left that responsibility to another? Is it not our responsibility?
But talking about leaving responsibility to another now, still looking at the interference, will I say the help by the US coming into Nigeria, some will say it's more harm than good.
How?
That there's an ulterior motive when it comes to our mineral resources.
What mineral resources? Those things you call
oil.
Listen, those things you call mineral resources, including even the oil. Did you even have a use for it until they told you it was valuable? Those things you call columbine, tantalite, do you have a use for it until they tell you it's valuable?
And now that we know that they are valuable.
Exactly.
So now, hold on. Now that you know that they are valuable, you are creating a big conspiracy theory around the desire to take minerals instead of you to focus on the fact that human lives is more valuable. The ones they are taking today, do they know how many other things God has kept in the earth that they've not even known its value yet? The world was not created by us. We met the world the way it is. Some of the things we call valuable today were in the earth all a while, and it was not even valuable to many generations before now. So enough of this conspiracy theory. No decent nation, big nation that thinks itself as the leader of the world could have allowed us after about 20 years to continue to bleed people. And when you see them say it's Muslim, it's Christian, it's Christian, if you go to Benue and you do anything in Yerwata and all of those areas, those people are predominantly Christian. It will look like it's Christian. If the people that are doing it go there and dress the way they even dress like it, pretend to be like it, even though they are misguided, what do you want a fairly Christian organization outside the world to see? They will interpret it as, oh God, our brethren are Christians, they're getting killed. I sat there in the State Department not too long ago, and I listened to them talk about the issues of Nigeria. I swear to God, you will see that old men nearly crying. Congressman Wolf is about 96, 92, 93, I don't know how much, I can't be 80, it's about 80, it's 84, 85. He's the owner of that bill that they use for Freedom of Religions Act. That's it's called Wolf. That bill
that Ted Cruz backed on.
That bill. It's Congressman Wolf. It's my friend. I know him. He's a big old man. I know him. When you hear him talk about the things in Nigeria, and you just listen to his voice, it's almost as if he wants to cry. When you hear, their own people talk about how things have been happening. You are the Nigerians.
Right.
Maybe you have suffered a little bit of Stockholm syndrome, and you no longer have, because it's happening every day. You have gotten so used to it. You just say, "Oh God!" Even if for nothing, look at the level of empathy these people are showing on our matter, and they push their government so hard.
But Segun, just to interject now.
Yes, please.
Some will say, for as much as you say they have no eyes on our resources, or will I say, some will say, why didn't they go to the northeast where it is happening?
Okay.
Why Sokoto? Why bombarding that region?
Okay,
let me finish,
yes,
please.
Please.
Why didn't they go out and ask? They just took opinions of 1-2 people and summarized that is what is happening. They didn't go into where it was happening in the northeast to hear and feel the brunt, to understand that this is it. With what we saw.
No, wait a minute. Let me try and help you a little bit. You're my friend. They look at the entire space now we call Nigeria.
How did you know?
1 second. There's something called eyes in the sky.
Okay.
When you put your phone and you put it on your Google Map and say, I want to go to Sokoto, and it starts telling you turn left, turn right, go straight, who do you think does that? Okay, that's thing that allows you to say, when you go turn at where Ahmadu Bello will turn at, is still the same kind of technology.
Okay.
The only thing is that you are hearing the voice, you are not seeing the resonance. There's enough satellite in space that looks at them. When you had the NSAS in Lagos, and BBC and CNN started bringing, when you go
satellite pictures.
Thank you.
But they came out and said, well, of course you heard what BBC said. Some of the things that they said were not true, and they came out and apologized.
I'm just trying to show you. I'm trying to show you that there are eyes in the skies.
Okay.
That satellite imagery up there. Some nations are interested in this thing, even if we're not. So they know what's going on in the Middle East. They're in the Middle Belt. They know what's going on here. They have reconnaissance spy cameras all over the place. They chose that particular location probably because of a Sahelian implication.
Right.
I feel that the northeast, from what I heard, is even the easiest piece in the pot for them. But they believe that of more strategic importance and interest for them is that they do not want the continuous killing in the Benue Plateau. So I wondered why they consider that place more valuable than any other place. I think that it has to do with the fact that if they are Christians, and they are mostly Christians by origin, and their base is the evangelicals. The evangelicals are those people who believe Jesus Christ is going to come next week and all that. If that is their base, then you should know that their hearts will be there. I feel that from what I'm hearing, they're going to do quite a lot of activities. It's not just one-off. So I believe that they're doing some reconnaissance, they're working very hard with the Nigerian government, and at some point in time, you're going to hear papa all over the place, including even that northeast. Okay. Let us just pray and hope. I keep telling them all the time, look guys, don't be very careful. Technology must not fail. You shouldn't kill any civilian. You know how to go in. Do you know how to manage the consequence? Be careful. Right. We talk to them as much as we have access to talk to them. Just on behalf of all of us in this country, because hey, even the so-called terrorists are still our brothers. And if anybody wishes to life them on a scale that is so hard, you have to understand that it's like a father watching people kill his recalcitrant child, and it's not that easy. As far as I'm concerned, we need to figure out big reorientation. strong investment in, life abundant things. We need to hold local government chairmen and governors of those environments very seriously to their responsibility. We have come to the point now where we have to do birth control there. Because China did not wake up in the morning and says, okay, you can't have more than one child because it hated children. It did so because its population was growing at a rate that they couldn't even feed them. And if you are now disrupting farmland and all that, even the rural, small petty farming that people do to feed their family, they can't do. What are you expecting? And then we need to look at the cleric. We need to call it, hello cleric. Nobody is radicalizing the people of Saudi Arabia. Nobody is radicalizing the people of Iran. Nobody is radicalizing the people. If I hear this nonsense again in this country, you'll answer to the law. Government has to be that firm.
Before we take a break, let's do a quick assessment of President Bola Tinubu administration. A while ago, you talked about how that you're beginning now to understand the direction of the president's policies. You and I spoke at the twilight of 2023. We spoke again in 2024. The president has been in the saddle for upwards of 2 years now. Has your assessment changed?
I tell you what, the Bola Tinubu administration for me always leaves me a little bit somber. Somber in the sense that I get what they're trying to do, really. I truly get what they're trying to do. You can't bleed money and say you're paying subsidy. You don't even have the money to keep
in the first place.
So, as a matter of necessity, common sense says it's over. And political will and grit and fairness and firmness, they've taken it out. If you cry on that, you are crying over rubbish because you don't even have the money for it. You can't continue to run an economy where everybody goes to CBN, takes money, run to black market, and do that kind of rubbish. You need to do the equalization or closing it, or if you like the value, whatever you call it, let the naira find its real value. He's done that. Everybody knows it has to be done in the book. There's no hard and fast rule to it. But we couldn't do it before. He's done it now. So you know for a fact that you can't have a mumble jumble of opinions and laws called tax laws in the country. You have somebody is selling potato on the street. You go there, you start disturbing them, harassing them. 1 million taxes all over the place. You can't continue like that. Some of your taxes have been on the books for more than 50 years, no reform. Now you have gone to reform it, and they have said, okay, we're not taxing more. We're only taxing effectively. That means that we're taxing those that can pay and making sure we can get our money in. Our interest is not to be disturbing the people that don't pay. We're exempting them. And somebody that has a sense, a jot of gray matter in his brain does not know that makes sense. Are you happy that the poor are paying taxes that they can't afford? Or are you happy that everybody is just running up and down the street, putting stick on the road, disturbing people? So you can see that the housekeeping issues that can allow people like us to come after them and come and lead this country properly, he's doing it. Those things have serious consequences because belt tightening and reform is a very serious business. No nation can do reform effectively if everybody that has a brain and is a little bit educated and can educate people does not understand what the reform is. It's like saying, no, our house is dirty, we need to renovate it. Well, let's pack the things out, and then the one small child is crying, my toy. Young man, you need to take it easy. When we finish cleaning out the house, when we sweep it and clean it, you have a better space. And then when you find, if you allow us to finish it, and then we put it back there, everybody's going to be the happier for it. That's the part that I like. The part that I don't like is that I've been reflecting for some time. Why is it that the Nigerians don't like their leaders? Because we really don't like them. And I came to the conclusion that Nigerians don't like their leaders because the leaders live above their means. If you want
above or below?
Above. Leaders live above their means.
They live.
Now,
of course.
If you want the Nigerian people to tighten their belt, you should tighten yours. You can't be telling the mass of the people it's austerity measure, and then there's nothing in your own immediate lifestyle that suggests the tightening of the belt. People are bound to be a bit resentful.
Sorry, Segun, I want to just interject again. But Nigerians, we're not asking for too much.
No, we're not.
We're just asking for the basics. Just give us the basics, and we're good. And liking you will not be a problem if you give what is due to us. It's very important.
Where are you supposed to access the basis? That's the question Nigerians are not asking. The way we run our country, we tend to believe that the president is the one that is responsible for the basis. But that's not his job. His job is to figure out how to make sure that local governments get money, which he is doing. States to get their share of the money, which they are doing. And then that basis we are looking for, we're supposed to get it from our local government and from our states.
But with this issue...
But our problem is, I don't know how we got to this mess. We have created a single narrative that is driving the country, which is that whoever is sitting on the chair, even if his name is Segun Showunmi, he's responsible for all the rot, and we pretend as if we don't know that there's somebody at the local government who has a duty. We pretend as if we can't see our state governors, especially the ones from the north, who just literally don't even live in their state.
But let me, again.
Okay.
Now, if we are all looking at Segun Showunmi, for instance, as the president,
Yeah.
and the thing is, a lot of individuals, you've been hearing people around you complaining that these individuals who that you have put into this particular appointment are not doing their duties, and then Segun Showunmi, are you not supposed to call them to order to act, to do the needful when it comes to...
Let me beg you, because I need you to understand this. The Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria does not give any president the power to dictate to a state government how to spend his money.
Right.
And that same Constitution does not give any power to the federal government to tell a local government that is under the state how to spend his money.
But you can put them to order.
Okay. Listen now, I hate to be their spokesperson, but I'm not. And every time I try to educate our people think I'm looking for a job from them. What job do they have that I can be interested in, really? I just want us to have a country that works. The thing on the table is that, you see, it was all part of making sure that we get what we want. That forced the federal government of Bola Tinubu to go to the Supreme Court to get an order and a judgment that says local government gets your money. It's a desperate act to make sure that that money gets to them. It's also a desperate act that makes the president say to governors, you guys, you have appointed local government, give them their money. If you don't give them their money, I'll bring an executive order, I'll start paying. Now, the point I'm making is, we should not be a people who don't know where the service we are looking for is. We can't make it a habit of clapping for our governors or pretending we can't see them. We can't make it a habit of not being interested in our local government. And all of us across the board is screaming on the head of one president. You know what that does? What it does is that because Nigeria is a multi-ethnic, multi-tribal country, the voice and the tone of voice and the adjective used by people of that are not his tribe, which are going to be plenty anyway, whether it's a Buhari, whether it's a Showunmi, whether it's a Bola Tinubu, whoever he is, will be too loud. And then what that one will do is that will then send an maybe unintended impression to the people of his tribe that they got to be a pushback. Why do we want to run our country like this? Every state is empowered by law to make the laws and adjudicate and spend the money for its own people. Every local government is also empowered. What the problem we have in the country is, I tell you without kidding you, in Nigeria, and it has been so for some time, except for the time of the parliamentary system, Nigeria, the most effective and hardest working organ of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is the vice president, is the federal. They're the ones that will be thinking, oh, how do we give them free education? Oh, how do we give them free health? Oh, how do we give them school feeding program? Those things ordinarily should never be their business. But because they see that human beings are living in states and local government are collecting their money, your governors are buying private jets, they are marrying Arab women, they are doing all sorts of things. You see them every day in all of the capitals of the world, in Dubai, in London, spending money like it's going out of fashion, and you think that the president can stop it. The law does not allow the president not to release their money. When he releases their money to them, what do you think, those of you that are the citizens of that environment, what do you call your duty? What's the duty of your stakeholders? What's the duty of you, the young people? We used to ask them, Mr. Man, what are you doing with our money? What is the budget? And when he finishes his tenure, and they start inviting him to EFCC and all that, you people again are going to start shouting, they are victimizing him, they are victimizing him. How do you want us to build a great nation if we don't even agree that everybody should do their duty?
Okay, we're going to take a quick break at this point, Segun. But when we return, we'll be looking at political issues. First of all, starting from the opposition front and looking at what it means as we head towards the 2027 general election cycle. Do stay with us. Wake up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
Watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m., Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
So I'd like to ask you, are you still a member of the PDP?
Yes, I am.
Is there still PDP?
I'll be extremely frustrated. I'll be extremely frustrated. Listen, is there PDP? There is. And I think PDP will live or die after the Court of Appeal. It's mortally injured now. Mortally injured. But if the Court of Appeal, and I beg the justice of the Court of Appeal, I beg you, hurry up with the judgment. If the Court of Appeal comes with a judgment that says this is the position, then at least they stop digging. Anybody that wants to leave can leave. The ones that are there, we can then, you know what I mean, rally around and continue. Will the PDP be able to win 2023, 27? I think it's too late. But will they survive? They will. But if the Court of Appeal does not hurry up with the judgment, and the Supreme Court does not finish it on time, and they get ourselves into a position where we are now not able to produce candidates, that's it. The PDP is dead, because the law of the country says you must at least win one ward before you can be registered, and that means it to go out of. But if that is the fate of the party, what else am I supposed to do? You all saw me lying on the ground begging for that they should take it easy with themselves. There's nothing they've done that has happened to them that have been directly. There's nothing they needed to hear that they've not been told by me. There's nothing that needs to happen that have not been done, and so we're going to now have to ask. If the party of Obafemi Awolowo can die, that of Nnamdi Azikiwe can die, that of Aminu Kano can die, that of Azili Ibrahim can die. These are men that were men of ideas at that generation. Who are the people that started PDP? It's not people like Obasanjo that ended up tearing their card. Whatever problem you see in the PDP, go and look in his direction, because he was the one who desired a situation where the president is the leader of the party, the governor is the leader of the party, and before you know what else have been seen the mess we have created. If you know what politics ought to be, the leadership of the party must be shared by a group of people who have risen to that gravitas. And if one person comes and says he wants to be governor, and he begs and lobbies and they give him the ticket, that can never make him their leader the next day in the morning. That's where you destroyed the democratic institution we have now.
Do you believe that the PDP was ever ready or prepared for a opposition role in the country?
If the PDP had not been prepared for opposition, they could not have done 2 elections back to back and come second. I believe very seriously that the election that we did in 2019, with due respect, we were rigged. That I know. That we won that election, but we couldn't really get it.
But you don't think same of 2023?
No. 2023 we lost. No. The man who is in the villa won. I don't believe in self-delusion that makes you say, "Oh, I won what you didn't win." How did you win? Even the one that likes to scream, we know the gift, go and look at the numbers of the votes they produce from a section of the country. Is it realistic to say that one political party will go to one section of the country and just take 90%, whereas everywhere else you went to, people gave votes to parties? That's a joke now. They will let them try to 2027. Let's see who's going to allow them that kind of leeway to be misbehaving. Look, elections are serious events.
Right.
Most politicians, not me, they like to build the next election on the assumption of the last election. No, that's not it.
Doesn't work like that.
No. Every election here is like going to the tailor. You have to measure it afresh. You have to measure it afresh because the fundamentals are not the same. The personalities driving it are not the same. The mood of the economy of the nation is not the same. The gravitas is not the same. The pathway is not the same. The playbook is not the same. The communication strategy is not the same. The mood of the country itself is not the same. So when you I almost got it last time. That's what destroyed PDP. When we lost in 2015, I remember very well, very clearly. I did say, You cannot rebuild the party with the consciousness with which you destroyed it. You need to let us go back to the basics and build afresh. But you know what? They thought it was a dash. That they will hold their breath and just jump into the sea. And, but it's a marathon. How long can you hold your breath? So we go to 2019. The back line that should have carried us fluttered, and we lost. Then when we got to 2023, they just thought it didn't matter. Whatever anybody like, let them go to blazes. The ticket is in hand, and the result was what? Still the same loss. And now they're going about it again in the most, embarrassing way. Take the ADC. Some of them are good materials if you know them privately. But how do you even want to couple together excessively ambitious people on a platform? How do you even couple them together?
So you saying the ADC is dead on arrival?
Look, man, I don't want to be a prophet of doom. But the fact of the matter is that the first question they will have on the timetable is, how do you even pick the candidate? Now they will tell you there will be a primaries. Is it not the same attitude you carried into PDP primaries that made people to become so sore after the primaries that they could not even work for you, that you people have carried into that place? Then
maybe they have a different mindset now.
Listen, I'm the politician here. Let me tell you what's on the table.
Okay.
Every damn one of them thinks that they are the best material to win. And every damn one of them thinks they are the entitled one to win. And every damn one of them believes that they're going to win. And every damn one of them believes it's presidency or nothing. The only human being in their midst that is even a little bit sane in my mind is Nasser El-Rufai. Because he's the only one that is not even screaming, I have to be president now. So, okay. All the others,
maybe they want to take you by surprise. Maybe they're all going to come together.
I'm not in the APC. There's nothing like taking me by surprise.
But okay, take Nigerians by surprise. We feel maybe they're going to share this power. Someone wants to be president-wise.
Let me educate you.
Because this is the notion. What you have now is the notion of most Nigerians that feel that everyone wants to become president in the ADC. Maybe they have a different mindset in playing things.
I can guarantee you, I know them more than I know them like the back of my hand. I can write a book on each of them, a whole book, and put chapters on why they cannot be. And I can write a book if I want. Okay, maybe this one. These are they're not them. The point is that you can't. Okay, in the very first instance. If you wanted to run a new political base in 2027, after 2023 election, why was it necessary for you to go and carry money, buy the chairman of an existing party? You bought him. I can tell you how much, but I won't tell you now. You bought him. That smart crook took the money. He didn't let it go down, and suddenly you have two executives. There's one executive which you bought and is masquerading as the leader, and then there are the other people who are putting all their structures, who are there.
That's the Mr. Gombe faction.
Because they are the owners of their party. You can't just come to the table and say, we have national. How did you arrive at that? The whole idea is that you do your wards. From your ward, you do local government, you do states, and until you get to national. You people just went because of their very lazy and extremely irritating way of not wanting to do the hard work. They went to carry money and procured the chairmanship from some guy. They didn't even bother reading the books. You know what is in the books? The book says, ADC Constitution says, expressly written in black and white, if you remove the chairman, you must replace him from his zone. Ralph Wosu is from where? He's from the Southeast. Where is their own chairman from? So now they're going to run into legal issues. They will deceive themselves and give themselves a clever interpretation that the Supreme Court says don't interfere. But the Supreme Court says that if me and you start stabbing ourselves, we can't take ourselves to court. Okay, so now they will be in court. Now when they get to court now, all of that will dilute the issues. They've written a letter. I read something about, where is Malami from?
So Kebbi State.
Kebbi State. I read somewhere in Kebbi where they are telling you not to use their platform, not to this, not to. See, in 2023 when they lost, what was a better way to create a new organization? It was for them to start from scratch. But they like a lot of move to the answer. It is the type of attitude that will make them live, for want of a better example, party A today, jump into party B and one ticket. If they don't get it, jump into party C. If they don't get, that's the same attitude they are carrying.
I'm surprised they've not mentioned the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar.
Have I mentioned anybody's name?
I mean, you mentioned El-Rufai, for example.
When I said El-Rufai,
yes.
With due respect, and please, Nasiru has his own issues. The thing is that he's the only one among them that I have not heard him say he wants to be president. He cannot but have that ambition somewhere in his body. Whether you like it, even if he doesn't say it, it must be there. But for him not to be saying it now, it means that he's the only one that has a sane head on top of his shoulder that can look at what they really need to do. Every other person wants to be president. And if you want to be president and you want to take the structure of the party, there's a way you angle. Even the one that would not like to participate in the primary says he wants to be president in a party like that. How are you going to run it? So anyway, before they say, I don't want them to succeed, I wish them the very best or whatever they wish themselves. But you see, the leopard can never change its spots. It will be there. It will be the first of the place of there. So they will excite the Nigerian people. They'll probably put some millions on social media to be insulting everybody. But when the chiefs are down, elections will be run, boots on ground, in polling units, in wards, in governors and all that. And if governors don't matter, assuming governors don't matter, right, by the time we get to that election, they will understand that governors matter.
No, I know you're a card-carrying member of the PDP.
Till tomorrow, painfully so. Painfully so.
No problem, no problem. Now, APC to Wike, do not bring the spirit of PDP into
Serves him right.
So, but first, do you agree that there's a spirit in the PDP?
That spirit of PDP is the spirit that is driving participatory grassroots politics in Nigeria. It's also,
really?
Listen now, every other political party in Nigeria don't know the concept of primaries. They back orders and everybody follows. PDP gives enough space for people to fight, quarrel, struggle, contest and all that. That's democratic. It's getting a little bit too much because too much of everything is bad. But you cannot compare a political party where you can hopefully follow an ambition and it will not be against the law of their party that you are following the ambition. You can't compare the political party that will say even their immediate past national secretary is not qualified to participate in the governorship primary. That's madness now. So it's their style. It may work for them, but nobody can insult us because we are trying to be democratic. And whatever you see in PDP, Madam, Mr., is the microcosm of the attitude of the Nigerian people. Sam Wike right in the sense that when he became the minister of FCT, I did say, we have lost one of our best generals. When the issues were not going away, I then said he needs to make up his mind. You have demonstrated capacity in our opponent's camp. If you want to hold the party and want to provide leadership here, you need to come back. Now, he wants to, he's not come back. Now, he's, if you like, his boy, if you like, for want of a better word, the one he supported, let me not call him boy. With due respect, the governor of his state has now gone to APC.
Yes, Similaye.
Okay, so that means that if it is so, Similaye does not need Nyesom Wike to influence, manage, or give him tickets. That's a very serious problem. Now Wike suddenly now is in a situation where he can't make up his mind. There's always a time to draw the line now.
So you think he missed that line?
Well, it's not too late. He has to make up his mind what way, because I don't understand how he can possibly think that a political party that he is not a part of will relinquish the management of their party to him, however is in their government. When Bola Ige of blessed memory was serving as the almighty Attorney General of Nigeria, did they tell him that Bola Ige was interfering in PDP meetings? You can't do that. You have to be a card-carrying party member before you can even be interfering in the meeting. Then, when you want to interfere in a party, would you not know the culture of that party? Is the culture of the APC the type of party where people interfere? The APC is a political party where authority flows from. It's a style. It's not exactly.
And it seems to be working for them.
It's for now. They've not even ruled the country for 16 years. We led for 16 years. So they have been there now for 8 plus 2.5, maybe less than 10. Not up to 11. By May to be 11. Are you going to be comparing the skeleton, the dead bodies, and they're saying in only 10 years compared to what we managed for 16 years, and even successfully transferred power to another democratically elected other party? We're not their mates. They are still learning work. Really? But they are learning work. We are only looking at the fact that they are in charge today. We were in charge for 16 years. We created giants, we created champions, we gave the world to Kojoela, we gave the world Akim Mishola, we gave the world a lot of stars. What are they doing? They are putting together a caricature of human beings that ordinary school prefects, they will not give them in their school. We are making them as ministers and ambassadors. You are sending extremely destabilizing elements. You are pushing them before the Nigerian people to go and represent Nigeria, not you. If you want to make somebody your essay, that's your business. But when you want to make somebody an ambassador of Nigeria, he must be someone that does not make the situation in the country worse. So, listen, we concede the presidency to them because they are there now. I've even told you that I see some of the ideas and the vision of what he's trying to do. But hey, when it comes to grassroots party management, we are still their boss. They will never have ward meetings. You will never hear them that they had a ward meeting. You will never hear them that they want to do, they are doing primaries. They will just gather themselves in one room, run the person, let the person we choose. Everyone say, hey, is that normal? Even when if you have ever done any competition, including maybe just trying to be the social prefect of your town association, don't people contest it? Okay, when somebody backs another and somebody does not agree, in their own case, they never go to court. Are they not zombies? So they may win, but they cannot claim that they have our political credential. We are a proper political party.
So if the weakest faction were to win in courts, would you still be in the PDP?
How can I leave my party because they won or lost in court? The essential thing is that they should let us settle housekeeping issues. The reason is that if we don't resolve that issue, people who want to contest will not be able to, because of the very unfortunate clause in the 2022 electoral. When they wrote that clause, I was not comfortable. What was the clause? For you to produce candidates in any political party, the chairman and the secretary must sign. By just that singular clause, they have created another toll gate for politicians. When the chairman says he wants to go left, we will now have to be crying and praying that the secretary does not want to go right, But hey, that's the law. Now, if you go to the court of appeal, and the court of appeal says this is the ESCO, or this is the position, at least we know that even if we are going to lose, we can run election on those platforms. But nobody will wait in the political party that will now come and say you don't have candidate and if they want to contest. And those who are going to the APC, don't blame them. Do you know how long I've been suffering in PDP since 1998? If the APC said, well, yeah, please now let's do it together, we'll improve our democracy. Why not?
So if you approach you with the same offers that has been made to these other politicians, would you jump at it?
I am a very principled person. And I've also said it before that if I'm going to back the president, that's President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I'll find it extremely offensive to stay in a different party and be backing him.
So you move all the way.
So I'll have to go all the way. Or there's also a simple position. I can sit on the fence. I can be non-committal. I can let him go and do his presidential election anyhow he knows. And I can go and do whatever I want to do anyhow he knows. After he wins his presidency, the world is not going to come to an end now. Buhari did 8 years. Is the world didn't come to an end? What is Bola Tinubu 8 years? Plus or minus, what is he going to do other than what he's doing?
Well, let me ask a question though. With all of these tussles here and there with the PDP, do you think there's still, will I say, quote unquote, a light at the end of the tunnel for PDP?
It's only because you don't know how the back end and the grassroots of PDP is. It's unfortunate that at the topmost echelon of PDP, they are frustrating their rank and file. There is no household you go to in Nigeria today that you say PDP that they won't answer in power to the people.
Incidentally, I'm afraid that's the much time we allow stake. When we engage you here, it's almost an endless conversation.
Oh, it's always a pleasure around you guys. Happy New Year, guys. Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
Thank you so
Back
much.
again. I like the way we flow.
Oh,
yeah, sure we will.
We will.
All right, that's why we're leaving this conversation. Everyone, we want to thank Segun Sowunmi for making our time to come share these very valuable insights regarding Nigeria's development with us on the program this morning. Remember that the views of our guests are their opinions. I'm Uyi Agbofwewe.
And I am Jumai Manson. Thank you all so much for being a part of the program. Have an amazing day ahead. And thank you to our guests once again.
Totally my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Bye-bye.